Hello everybody, Nasadon here.
And today I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself, as well as introduce you to the new series I'm working on, which will actually premiere this Thursday. But yeah, I've realized that no one really knows me. Just know me as some Mario player on the internet. Some of you are in the Discord, so you do know a little bit more about me than others. But I've never actually made a video like this, so I figured today, why not make a video and let me introduce myself to you. If you are just here for the gameplay, you won't find any new gameplay in today's video, so feel free to skip this video and watch my next video once it drops on Thursday, or you can stick around and learn more about me. Otherwise, here we go. Well, I grew up a gamer. I'm sure a lot of you probably did as well. My mother was always into tech, so we always had the latest and best stuff. I guess that's a lie. We didn't have a Sega, but we had Nintendos and computers, so we had the good stuff, I guess. But I grew up in the 90s, and I had my Nintendo, my Super Nintendo, and pretty much every Mario game you could think of, from the first to Yoshi's Island 2. So I would just play all these games, jump around between them, and I don't really have a favorite. I just kind of played them all, but I guess my favorite was Super Mario Bros. 3, if I had to pick one. That might come as a surprise to some of you. I complain about Super Mario Bros. 3 Mario Maker levels all the time, so that might be a surprise, but that was my favorite game growing up. Jumping forward a few years, I did stop playing Mario games and started getting into PlayStation, and I loved stealth games like Splinter Cell, and this lasted until I discovered Grand Theft Auto 3. I was hooked, and that instantly became my favorite game studio, and I had to play everything. This is somewhat unrelated, but it is very important to how my life got to where it is in a weird way because of Grand Theft Auto. I had a few friends, and none of them played GTA. I guess we were all 12, so maybe their parents didn't let them play it. I don't know. I could get away with a lot. One of my friends introduced me to another one of their friends, who I'll call Dennis, who was another huge GTA fan, and so we ended up bonding over that, our love of GTA, which was pretty cool. And eventually him and I just became good friends outside of that. Before we get off the subject of GTA, I just wanted to mention that when GTA 4 was released, they were giving away keys to the city to the first 1,000, I think, people to beat the game to 100% completion. I ended up being in the top 100 of that contest, and I did receive a key to the city. This is just my love of GTA, not important to the story, so I guess let's go back to the story. So one day, I was hanging out at Dennis's house, and I noticed he had an Xbox, and I was like, yo, what's up with that? So I was surprised because he always had a PlayStation. I was like, well, what about that? So then we played a couple of co-op levels of Halo, and I was hooked. The game was just that good, and we never even made it past the silent cartographer. We got stuck at a certain point on that level. And I will admit, I kind of was a spoiled child. I did get a weekly allowance, and when I was younger, I didn't really care about school, so I was kind of bribed with money to get good grades, which did end up working for me. So I became a straight A student. I made bank. I got high honors for all my classes, so I didn't really need any money. I just saved it up for when I needed it, and this is what I needed. I asked my mom to go to the store. I bought myself an Xbox and a copy of Halo. First thing I did, of course, play through the campaign, which took me a while, but I enjoyed every second of it. Having that game, I started getting more competitive and wanting to play the multiplayer. So Dennis and I got more of our friends into it, and we created a huge group of Halo 1 players, and we kept meeting more and more people, and I needed to be the best. I didn't want to keep losing the game, so I would grind it out. Got really good at the game. One day, we went to Dennis's house for a LAN, and there was a weird old kid there. Like, we were all 13, 14 years old, and then we had, like, this 18-year-old just hanging out. Looking back was kind of weird, but he ended up being a chill dude, at least. He was really good at the game. He ended up teaching us all a lot about the game. That made the competitive side even worse, because he was an MLG player. Eventually, that's what I liked, so I got even more competitive thanks to that. And then Halo 2 came out. I was there for the midnight release, of course. I convinced my parents to get high-speed internet so I could play on Xbox Live. They loved, too, because dial-up kind of sucked. No more having to get off the computer because someone had to make a phone call. So I started playing Halo 2 competitively. Then I started joining tournaments, and I was winning those left and right. Local ones, of course. I didn't really win anything outside of the state. Our crew started becoming unstoppable, so then I was like, well, I should start recording my gameplay. Back then, I just recorded on VHS tapes, and I got a capture card. I had to go through each tape one by one. Recorded the clips and started making montages, which I started uploading on YouTube. So that's how I got started with YouTube, because I was like, I have to show this off, which I guess has always been my mentality. Made those, and because I used copywritten music, my channel got deleted. I do know some of those videos are still out there, though, on other people's channels. Then Halo 3 came out. I did the only thing I could think of at the time, and I decided to go to GameStop and see what I could trade in. Brought my Nintendo GameCube. I had about 15 games, including Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion, Mario Kart, Smash Melee. I had so many great games. Gave it to them and saw what they would offer me. They gave me $65, just enough to buy the game with tax. They definitely screwed me over there, and I was dumb. I traded it all in just for a copy of Halo 3, which I ended up not even liking the game, but I needed to finish the fight. Around this time, I decided to give up on FPS. From here, I decided to switch to Guitar Hero. Another great competitive game for me to play, because I already knew how to record and everything. I started recording my full combos on Expert, started uploading those on YouTube. That account also got deleted because, surprisingly, more music got copywritten struck, even though it was a game this time, so that wasn't cool. So that's 2 YouTube accounts I've lost. Hopefully, it doesn't happen a third time with this channel. I know more about how YouTube works these days. So to wrap up a huge chunk of this portion, I'm just kind of rambling now. My friend Dennis ended up getting his own apartment, throwing a party, and invited me over. I wasn't really a partier, but I decided to just get out of the house to check it out. At his party, I actually ended up meeting this really cool girl, and we ended up becoming friends, and we stayed friends for a good 2 to 3 years, and then one night we were hanging out and talking, and it ends up we both secretly liked each other. Neither one of us had the nerves to actually say it to each other, but then finally, I don't know what happened, but that night we did say it, and then we started dating. That was like 13 years ago, almost 14 at this point. Obviously, we've gotten married since then and are still going strong to this day. So this does take us to early 2019, where I have a great job. I'm a graphic designer and / photographer for a really cool company. Keep my sanity while I'm editing photos all day long. I watch YouTube video. I have dual monitors, so I would watch YouTube videos, do my work on the other screen. And one day, the algorithm decides to bless me with a Mario level. I'm not sure if it was Mario Maker, but it was like a crazy, insane Mario Kaizo level, of course. Watched in awe. I was like, holy crap, this game looks insane. And he brought me back to the levels I thought was hard as a child. I was like, but these games were hard, so what about this? From there, it introduced me to people like Grand Pooh Bear, and I would just like watch all these crazy clips, and then Panga and DGR. I did end up watching a bunch of Mario Maker levels, though, and got excited for the game, and found out it's only on the Wii U, which I did not have. I only had my Switch, so I was like, well, that's unfortunate. Then it ended up that Mario Maker 2 was announced, like, shortly after I discovered Mario Maker 1. I knew I would have to buy it on day 1, which I did. And as soon as I got the game, I played right through the campaign. It did take me a couple of days to get everything from there. Finally, I tried making my own levels, and I made some really bad levels. I think some are uploaded still. From there, I was like, okay, I'm ready to jump in. Let's see what this game has to offer. I've watched tons of people play hard levels. How hard can it really be? So I jumped right into Endless Super Expert, and that's how I started on this game. And the first level I got was like so out of what I could actually play, and I lost my 30 lives in like seconds just on the first few jumps. And I didn't give up. Can't be this hard. Kept grinding and grinding and grinding that same level, and I eventually did end up beating it. And I was saving my video clips. Every time I got progress, I'd screen record at 30 seconds at a time. I was excited, so I was sharing my progress over on my Twitter at the time. Kept playing the game, learning more and more tricks. But then eventually I was like, well, I should start making longer form videos. So I took my old clips and then I stitched them together and started uploading those over here on YouTube. Instead of 30-second clips, I'd have like a minute or 2-minute clips of stitched stuff. The very first video on this channel is actually the very first Mario Maker level I've ever played. So that's kind of fitting for my channel. Things went south when, during the pandemic, I, of course, lost my job. I found myself playing a lot of Mario Maker to ease the stress of life while searching for a new job. Things didn't really go out too well, so I decided to empty my entire savings, and I ended up buying myself a $7,000 Glowforge Pro. I just started making laser engraved items. I don't know why, but I thought I could do that and make a business out of it. Go to craft fairs, and then eventually I started selling on Etsy, local Facebook groups. Just a side business, but it's been 2 years now, and I've made about $20,000 from it for a side business, so not too bad. Sales obviously keep increasing each year, so who knows? Maybe that's what I'll do in the future, and I won't have to have a full-time job, a side business, and making Mario content. Maybe I can only have 2 of those. I can have my business and then playing Mario for fun on the side. The start of this channel, mainly, was because in 2023, I lost another job because the company didn't have enough money to keep me on. I was the new guy, so I got cut, of course. Kept happening. Stressed, but not really that much. Like, I was stressed, of course, but my wife and I were 100% debt-free. Like, paid our cars off a while ago. Like, we bought an ATV, we paid that off. We have no credit card debt. We don't have anything to spend our money on besides rent and eating, really. We don't really have bills. Luckily, we stay minimal because we've paid everything off. I told my wife, like, well, maybe I'll just start doing YouTube. And she's like, yeah, go for it. I don't care. She's like, we're making enough money from the business, her job. We stay afloat. We don't really have to worry about anything. So she told me I could focus on YouTube and be choosy when I'm looking for a job. I ended up going out and getting a new capture card and started recording my Mario gameplay, which is what you now see on this channel. I would just upload like normal gameplay, hoping that'd be good enough. Have any audio, of course, because I hated my voice. I still hate my voice. Apparently some of you like it, so thank you to that. But I had an early subscriber on here named Alvaro, and he commented on my page saying that he thinks the channel would do a lot better if I would just start talking and giving commentary over the videos. And obviously I was super nervous to do so because I have always been introverted. Like, I was a quiet kid at school. I would not talk unless somebody asked me something. Even when I was with my friends, like, I wouldn't really talk. It's not me. I'm not really a talker. And now here I am, like, doing it all day. So I finally got the courage to one day just talk. I don't even know what the first video was where I talked. The next day I was reading the comments and people loved it. Like, I was really surprised. I got a couple subs. Even people were saying that they liked my voice on that video, so I was shocked. I was like, wow. It made me feel good about myself because, like I said, I don't really like my voice, so I'm glad some of you do. It did give me the courage to keep going at it and making more videos and actually speaking over them. It is weird just sitting here talking to yourself. I guess I'm getting good at it. Well, even to this day, I still get comments saying that they like my speaking voice, so thank you to all who gave me the confidence to speak in my videos. I may have started speaking on the channel without Alvaro's comments, but it was definitely his push and recommendation that made me start doing it. So shout out to him. Everybody give a shout out to Alvaro for that. And I'm going to put a link to his channel on the screen, and I'll put it in the description as well, because he makes amazing video game music with his orchestra called Joysticks and Orchestra. The channel is very small for how good they are. Like, they're very talented, so definitely recommend you check them out. If you are interested in that and do decide to check them out, let them know Nastodon sent you. That brings us to now, basically. So had it not been for the support of my wife over this past year, this channel probably would not exist. She has been cheering me on from day one. She doesn't watch any of my videos because she doesn't really like Mario, but pretty fair trade-off for how awesome she is to let me even do this in the first place. That's basically my backstory summed up. I probably skipped over some important stuff. I'm kind of just rambling, but if you have any questions, just ask them in the comments below and I'll be sure to answer them. So that does bring us to a new series that I want to do for Throwback Thursday. I have 550 videos uploaded on this channel now, many of which have less than 10 views. Some of them have banger levels in them. Or from a time where I didn't use a mic, so they didn't really get the leverage I was hoping. I don't expect anyone to go back and watch those, of course. They're probably not good videos in the slightest. So that's what Throwback Thursdays will be for. I'm going to go back and watch my old content so you don't have to. I'm going to go pick out my favorite levels and leave commentary on the levels if I do remember them. I wasn't the best editor too, so I can trim out the fat, make it a lot smoother, and then show off some cool gameplay from the past that nobody's probably seen. And then, of course, if you've seen that, you can just go ahead and skip that video. I was planning on just doing episode 1 today. I was going to have a small intro, but then I kind of went deep into my backstory for some reason. Nobody even asked for this. I'm just doing it. But hopefully some of you made it this far into the video. So this was my terribly long backstory. Thank you so much if you made it this far into the video. I hope you did enjoy this terribly long backstory and you enjoy all my future content. And I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.